So here you can see we were able to make the query, and it's returning as 4 document. Now we are going to learn how can we make an actual rack system, defining the name as PG vector container, and I'm setting some of the environment variables like a default Postgres user and the default Postgres password as well. Let's make it password, and after that let's also set an environment for Postgres DB. Let's mark it as LC for now. This is going to be the database name, and now let's define the port mapping from 6042 to 55432. Now we can define the PG vector as the Postgres 16. Once this is done, it has created a container. We just need to start it. So once this much step is done, let's bring LangChain community and import text loader. So from LangChain OpenAI, let's import Azure Chat OpenAI and also the Azure AI embedding. For now, let's only focus on how we can make production ready embeddings. So in the LangChain text splitter, let's import recursive text character splitter, and from LangChain let's also bring Postgres for vector store, and let's import PG vector. So from LangChain community, let's first import documents, and then let's bring a UUID because we are going to give a unique ID. So now let's define our connection URI, which is going to be Postgres, and we will be pointing to our localhost server that we just now created. So you have to define like Postgres SQL plus PS copy and the database and the password. I have made it password, connected to the localhost, the port that we have defined 6024 as you can see, and then go to the LC collection. So now let's do one thing. Let's load the raw document from text loader that we have learned about in the second episode of this series, and let's bring this document. Let me copy the relative path, and that's how it's done. So now we also need to specify just in case encoding, and once this is done, the text, we need to call the text splitter that is going to recursively create the chunks of this document. Let's define the chunk size of 1000, and let's also define a chunk overlap. Let's make it 200, and then what we are going to do is these document, let's load them text splitter dot split document, and from the raw documents now we are also need to bring the embedding model. Let's use ADA 002. Let's refer this model. So let's use same model. Let's also not forget to import load.env, so such that our credentials are being fetched properly. Now we need to define the PG vector from documents. So we need to define document and the embedding model. Let's also pass the connection URI. Let me handle it. So now we have the Postgres connection class is available. Then we can do this similarity search. Let's define a query. Let's run it and see if everything's working fine. Let me ask a question. What is LangChain? So now let's do UV run module 2 db, and let's see if our server is running. We can also check the logs as well. we can see it's running, and let's see, it will take some time because it's going to chunking. And so actually there is a problem with connection string. I have fixed that. Now let's see this, right? We have one more error. Let's add this dependency. Hopefully after that all errors will be gone. I am going to add those error parts in the video so that if you also face same errors, then you can just come to this section. So one thing to note, you'll need ps copy to be installed as a dependency additional to your LangChain. And so here you can see we were able to make the query, and it's returning as 4 document. So perfect. Now we were able to make the embedding and the connection. Now we need to learn how to add documents. Let's say during the runtime. Let's say when the chat is happening. If you wanted to add some embedding, so for that you need an unique UUID. So let's create UUID 4 would be better. And once that is done, let's so we are creating 2 UUIDs just for test. Let's also add 2 documents corresponding to that, and let's add some page content. Let me write some quickly. This tutorial is written for LangChain, and let's also define a metadata. That's very important because it's the same way we have done recursively with the help of the pg vector.format document. So let's maintain the consistency here as well, and let's copy paste it again. And there you can see. Now let's modify it a little bit, and let's write LangChain is awesome for making the AI development. All right, now let's move on to the next part. We need to define a ID. So let's provide the ID array that we have defined in line number 34. And let's see, let's do some formatting, and let's see if this is successfully done or not. So let's also do one thing. As soon as we add them, let's also delete them with the help of those UUID, because that will be present in the session. So we can call db.delete IDs, then we can pass the ID array that we have defined. So this will ensure that the fundamentals you need to learn, like CRUD operations are important. We were able to do retrieve, but creation and deletion is also that much important. As an AI engineer, you should be well aware of that. So now let me add some debug this time. So hopefully everything works fine. It's going to do embedding again, and then it is going to add some document and then delete document. We should be able to see the logs as it when it happens. So yeah, document added, document deleted, perfect. That's all we wanted. And yeah, so this is what you need to understand. Thank you very much for watching this session. Let's meet you in the next tutorial, where we are going to learn more control over our embedding databases. Then finally we are going to build a RAG system, production ready. That is important. Thank you.